In today's video, I'm gonna teach you how you can digitize this awesome wedding portrait so you can gift it to the new wedding couple. Welcome back, Lacy family. My name is Ken and I'm here to teach you how to get creative with the Design Doodler. If you've never used the Design Doodler before and you're struggling with your own digitizing, well, this program solves it all because it allows you to get creative without needing to know absolutely everything. I'm gonna leave the link to this program in the description. I'm using it on the iPad, by the way, and the Design Doodler is both on PC and on iPad. And if you want to learn fully how to utilize this program, click this link up here because John Deere walks you through the whole program. Overall though, it's very simple, but it still has a lot of secrets to it. Alright, let's open up an image by clicking this button down here. We're going to go to Photo Library and we're going to import this amazing image from Beth and Travis. It is so beautiful. What an awesome image. All right, we're going to click this button right here because that is what allows us to resize this image. And right here, I have the hoop, which is 4x4. If you want to change the hoop, no problem. You simply go to settings and under settings, you click hoops and that allows you to select whichever one you want. I like 100x100, which is 4x4, which is perfect for me. And while selecting the image, you can actually click this button right here for settings, turn the opacity down, and I'm just going to make sure that I can fit it in that hoop. Perfect. That looks awesome. That's really good. And now I'm just going to deselect. So I no longer want to select the image and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. What an awesome photo. I love it. Now, last week I taught you how to do the outline of a portrait, and this week I want to show you more of like a colored style. So it's no longer that outline looking, very simple. Now we're going to be mixing quite a few colors to make this style look awesome. All right, so to do this, we're going to be utilizing, and if you don't know, this is the wheel that you use to select your different types of tools. Today, I'm going to be using this one right here. That is kind of like a tatami style, but it can also be used as satin. And so we're going to use this to pretty much just go around areas like so. Instead of like this being outline, it'll be more of like an actual shape. Now, of course, let me zoom in a little more. Let's go here, and over here you can see the palettes. You can see every single one of the colors. I'm going to choose 25 because I think that's the closest to his skin color. I'm going to move to his face. Awesome. And let's digitize a little bit just so I can show you what that looks like. Okay, 3D. It would look something like that. Let me disable it and enable it. So that's the style that we're going to go for, and we're pretty much going to do this for the whole design. We're going to start with a base. So let me go back. And I like to work from the background to the foreground in this style because I think it's a lot easier. So for example, his short would basically be in the background and his shirt would be in the background. Then it's his hands, and so on and so forth. All right, let's just get started. Let's select the color of his shorts, which is maybe a black, but I'm just going to go maybe for like a really dark gray. I think 26 is good. And what I'll do is I'm pretty much just going to sketch it like so. I'm not going to include that little part of the knee because it's a little too small, so there's no necessity to really be doing that. And what I did is I overlapped a little bit on her dress because if you don't overlap, sometimes you'll have gaps on your design. So to avoid that, I'm pretty much just going to overlap this ever so slightly. So something like that. That's awesome. And actually, we're pretty much done with the shorts already. So let's move on to the next color. You can actually see the layers right here. So this is the dark brown, which is the shorts that we made so far. I don't need to enable 3D, but if you want to see the 3D, it's just that on the iPad, it slows down a little bit when you use the 3D. So I avoid using it when I'm moving around. Okay, let's go for the white now. Let's select 2 because that's the white. And I'm going to create the next shape, which is something like so. Again, you can see that I'm overlapping a little bit. Maybe it's a little hard to see because it's the white. But what I'll do, let's rewind and let's actually overlap even more. So I'm going to click here to create the shape. Whoop. Go back a little bit. Let me just move around so I can capture the whole shape. And now let's create it again. I might not even include that small brown part of the short. Like I said, it's maybe a little too small, but we'll see for now. Okay, so right now we're just creating the shapes around it. And let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the shirt. You can see super simple. We're pretty much just creating these areas. I'm going to divide that part of the shirt just so I can change the angle of it. Go around. Overlap, overlap, overlap. Awesome. Let's create the next one. Go around. Overlapping. Awesome. Let's see what that looks like. 1 to 1 to zoom back out and zoom in 3D. That looks pretty cool. I like that. Now you ask yourself, well, what do we do next? I think we can honestly do the dress next. So why not take care of the dress? Let me remove the 3D and let me move around. Let's see if we can try and do the bottom part of the dress first. This is a pretty huge dress. It honestly looks beautiful. Let's see if I can try and create the whole shape all in one. Whoops, I'm gonna have to rewind. And I'm just wondering if I should even like split it. So for example, I'll do this part right here first, overlap it like so. So I'll do this part. Then maybe let's do this part right here too. Again, overlapping it. And don't worry, by the way, about the angles because we're going to be changing those a little bit later. That's no problem. And then let's create this whole area like so. Like that. Go around. Doing my best to be as accurate as possible with the actual design. And there you go. Now, you can see that right there, I actually kind of messed up a little bit because I kind of thought that I had to go up there when in reality I didn't. That's no problem. You're simply going to click this tool right here, and that will allow you to move these shapes and reset them to wherever you want. That's right there. Let's enable 3D so we can see what that looks like. It just looks like a bunch of random stitches. But no problem because we're going to add some shape to them soon, okay? Disable the 3D. Let's go over here and create the veil. I believe that's what it's called. The veil, go around like here. Awesome. I'm gonna try to just overlap a little bit more on that hair. Now, let me show you how to add some angles just so it doesn't look so like horizontal because everything is kind of going horizontal right now. And to do so, we're pretty much going to click this tool right here. You can already see it's enabled. So I'm gonna start changing up some, that one's too small, they don't need to, but right here, I'm gonna switch it there. For the shoulder, I kind of wanted to go that way. For the shirt is pretty good there. But for example, for her dress, I wanted to go up that way. For this one, let's say I wanted to also go like that. And for this one, maybe I want the shape to, I don't know, maybe this way. It kind of looks like it's flowing like that. Why not make it so? Now you can already see that, if I disable the image, that it's taking on a little bit more shape rather than just everything being horizontal, which is what we want in the end. I think we finished all of the clothes. That's really awesome. The next thing that we're gonna do is probably work on this thing up here, the flower, of course, that thing, right? So I'm gonna go over here, and again, we're gonna change the colors by clicking on the palettes. This green looks pretty good. Again, I can exit and I'm going to overlap it a little bit because I want the hand to go on top. So let's just do this. Let's create like a random awesome shape right there. And let's create the next one like so. Wow, that one is full of holes, and I guess we'll see how the program actually embroiders when we do this one. Let's see. Awesome. Like I said, same thing. We're going to change the angles of things if we want to so that it looks cooler. Instead of everything going just horizontally, we kind of want it to go a little bit everywhere. Now we're just going to add a couple of these, but nothing too crazy because they're pretty small. So again, we're going to open up the palette. I'm just going to select this cool orange, and we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. So I'm going to select it and just go around, create some of that area. Maybe we'll even just keep it to one color so it's even more minimalistic, something like that. Let's go back 1 to 1, zoom out and see what that looks like. Okay, select and 3D. We can disable the view. That looks nice. I like it. It's just like a floating color. All right, let's go on to the next one. I'm going to zoom in. And I think now what I can actually do is create his hand and his actual head. And we'll add the hair afterwards, okay? Because we don't want him to look bald. We're going to click again on the colors. I think what was his skin tone? Was it 25? We'll do 25. Okay. I'm going to click on here. And we're going to create his arm. Now, this is why I wanted to overlap it a little bit because I want to make sure that it is going to be on top of the white. That looks awesome. It is. And I can actually change the angle of it. So I'm going to click the angle. And I think that's pretty good. I like that. That's a good angle. Next, we're going to do the face. So again, because his face is behind, I want to overlap his face. Okay, so something like this. and we're gonna add the hair in a little bit. Awesome. Change the angle, perhaps, so that he's kind of like looking down, or the stitches show that he's looking down. Nice. And now we're gonna add some hair. One is good. We're just gonna do the color black, and let's create the hair. Overlapping. Awesome. Create that overlap. Cool. Now the hair, I'll change the angle, even though that's actually pretty good, to something like that. Let's go again 1-to-1, take out the image so we can see. You can start modifying everything, of course. I like that. That looks really cool. Again, zooming in again, taking out the 3D, enabling back the image. I think we can finally do her hand. So we're going to try and do, no, actually, let's do the face first. And the reason we're doing the face first is because her shoulder is on top. Select again, 25. I think that's what it was. And zoom in a little bit more. Awesome. 25. Let's go around. Overlapping because we're going to be doing the hair on top. So we're just going to change her face. So they're kissing. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get it perfectly in one shot. My hand is always super shaky from all the coffee that I have in the morning, but that's okay. And finish it around there. Whoa, that was pretty good. I'm happy with that. Click on it, move it around. Let's see, 3D. Yay, that looks cool. All right, move around again because we still have his hand, and we're gonna finish that super quickly. Overlap a little bit. Maybe could have gone behind something else, but it's okay. No problem at all. And let's change the angle of this hand to something like so. Cool. Now the last thing that we're gonna do, I believe, is to add the hair, but we'll obviously see if there's anything else. Let's try and find something that's kind of similar, maybe 21. And of course, you can always change the thread color on your actual machine. You can pick like the closest one available on the applications and then choose the thread color that you want. So I'm just kind of adding her hair. Whoops, I'm imagining, sorry. I should stop. So you guys can see that I was creating hairs that weren't even there, okay? We're trying to stay accurate to the actual photo. 1, 2, and then that's the hand, not the hair. So 3. Cool. Let's again go back 1-to-1, zoom in a little bit, and what we can do now is enable that and disable the photo. Aw, that's really cute. That's really, really cute. This next part is definitely preferential. So if you guys want to add, for example, some details, for example, like just add some shadows to the dress, nothing too crazy, because obviously at the end of the day, the goal is to have a simple looking like portrait style design. I'm going to enable the image. I'm going to take off 3D view. And what I'm going to create is, first of all, we're going to grow onto all of the layers. We're going to grab all of the layers, and I want to lock them because I don't want to be able to move anything around by accident, okay? Now the next thing is I'm only going to add some shadows like here and on part of the dress, nothing else, okay? So I want to go and grab, let's say for example 65, and we're going to do exactly the same thing that we've been doing, but we're going to add some shadows. Here I'm going to create some shadows right there. We're just going to change the angle so it's not the same. And let's see, where else can I create some shadows? Maybe there. Just create these shadows like so. Now I'm just going to change the angle of them. Something like that, and something like that. Remove the 3D. Zoom in. Now what we're going to do is grab all of those shadows. And of course, we don't want them to be as thick because the background is already pretty thick. So we're going to go under density, and for density, I'm just going to change it to like probably 1 millimeter in spacing. I think that density is going to be a lot better, a little more spaced out, and that is now perfect. Now I'm going to unlock all of these because I don't want them to be locked anymore. And what we're gonna do when we have them selected, actually, before we do that, let's unclick on everything. I'm going to now lock the gray because I don't want to be modifying the gray anymore. The last thing I'm going to do is select everything. So you can see that everything has been selected except for the gray because it is locked. I'm going to go under properties, and on properties, I'm going to click on underlay. What do I want? Let's say maybe like perpendicular. Is a perpendicular good? Is that basically at the tummy? Yes, I'm just enabling the perpendicular shape because if we don't add any underlays, the shapes might go all over the place, whereas now it has a place to stay solid. And there you go. Let's do 1-to-1, take off the image, zoom in a little bit, and there you go, guys. That is how you create a pretty simple, super cool wedding portrait. And the thing about these kinds of designs is that you're not just locked to the portraits. You can pretty much do whatever you want, even if it's like a couple just chilling on like a bench, or even if it's just someone by themselves with like a little umbrella. Like, the options are infinite. It's just the style that I wanted to teach you guys how you can do super simple on the Design Doodler. Now, like always, super important, let's make sure that we save it. Let's say wedding portrait, and we're gonna save that because we don't want this design to get lost and then you have to re-digitize everything. So now that we saved it, we can finally send it onto our computer and have it embroidered. Now, to share your files, you simply click on the files folder on your iPad and you go on my iPad and you will find a Design Doodler folder right there. Now you can see it says wedding portrait, and what you do is you click and hold and you can click share. Once I've clicked share, I can see my Gmail, my mail, my G Drive. Save it wherever you want, send it to yourself via email, and that way you can import it into your computer, export it as, for example, PES if you have a brother machine, whereas in my case, it has to be DST because I have an industrial machine. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna show you what the embroidery result looks like. And here's the end result of the digitizing we have just done. Look at how beautiful that is. It honestly looks so cute. This is something that I'd love to do like a bunch of tiny little photos of, and then just kind of like collage them all together. And like I said, guys, look, this is the look of that 1mm spacing for the shadows that we did on top of one another. You can see that because we overlapped ever so slightly, there wasn't any like spacing between each of the shapes, which is kind of what we want at the end. Let me just zoom in a little more so you guys can see. Very minimalistic, beautiful. You guys can create as big of a size as you want or as small as you want it to be. You can see the angles. The reason why we did the angles is so you can actually make the shapes of what we're trying to do. This is what it looks like. And that's the digitizing. And I am so happy. I can't wait to show this to Beth and Travis. Thank you guys so much for letting me show your wedding photo. It's honestly, you guys are so beautiful, and it's such a beautiful photo shoot that you guys did. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to do this. I can't wait to see the creations that you guys make. And if you do create something similar like this, please share it with us on Instagram, on Facebook, and anywhere, because we would love to see your creations and share it with other people. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys want to get the Doodler, the link is in the description. I'll see you, Legacy family, on the next video. But in the meantime, come check out last week's video right here. Take care, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye. I want to go to my wedding.